up, YouTube? It is Lordburger, and I'm coming at you with another deck profile today. This deck really isn't too much for tournament play. It's more of a fun deck, one that I usually only use with my friends. Usually, I duel the Forbidden Duelist with it sometimes. I don't versus Exodia because this deck will lose almost every single time against that. It is pretty fun to use though. It is a pretty fun deck. I'll go ahead and start out the deck list. First off, we have 3 Sylvan Hermitries. Basically what this card does is once per turn you can excavate the top card of your deck. If it's a plant monster, send it to the graveyard. If otherwise, you can place it on the bottom of your deck. If this card is excavated from the deck to the graveyard by a card effect, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and arrange them in any order. So that's Sylvan Hermitry. Next we got Blaster. This deck runs a lot of fire types, so I run Blaster. Radox, it also runs a lot of earths. It runs around fire and earth type monsters. Next is 1 Sylvan Guardioch. I don't use him too often, but he is pretty helpful on occasion. His effect is once per turn you can choose a number between 1 and 3, excavate that many from the top of the deck to the graveyard, or all the ones that were plant type monsters sent to the graveyard. Any of the others sent to the bottom of the deck in any order. And if this card is sent to the deck to the graveyard by card effect, you can target one other plant type monster in your graveyard and place it on top of the deck. Next is 1 Debris Dragon. He's a tuner. When he's normal summoned, you can special summon 1 monster with 500 or less attack in your graveyard and attack position. Its effects are negated, and this can only be used for the synchro summon of a dragon type monster. And the other synchro material monster used with this synchro summon cannot be level 4. This deck does use synchro monsters, and he's great for getting something like Black Rose Dragon. Next is 2 Sylvan Blade Fenders. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can excavate the top card of your deck. The plant type monster, blah blah blah. It's the same as all the other Sylvan monsters basically. If he's excavated by a card effect, you can add him to your hand from the graveyard. And he has 1900 attack, so it's a pretty good amount of attack for a monster. Next is 1 Sylvan Flower Knight. When this card is normal summoned, I can excavate the top card of deck to the graveyard of plant type monster, send to graveyard. Otherwise, place it on the bottom of the deck. If it's excavated, I can choose 1 Sylvan card from my deck and place it on top of my deck. Next is 1 Dandelion. He's great for, I use a Foolish Barrel in this deck. Summon 2 plant tokens, used for synchro summon. I can use with Lone Fire Blossom to special summon any plant type from my graveyard. It's a really good card for this deck. It's also an earth monster used for Radox. Next, 2 Lone Fire Blossom. He's semi-limited to 2. Once per turn I can tribute a plant type monster, special summon a plant from my deck. It's really good in this deck, since this deck runs around plants. Next, 3 Sylvan Marsh Leafs. When he's normal summon, I can choose a number between 1 and 2, excavate that many. If this guy is excavated and sent to the graveyard, I can destroy 1 monster my opponent controls. Next is 3 Sylvan Camushromos. His effect is a flip effect. When he's flipped, I can choose a number between 1 and 5, excavate that many, and when this guy is excavated to the graveyard, I can destroy 1 spell or trap my opponent controls. So, Marshall Leaf and Camushromo are really good in this deck. Next is 2 Effect Veilers. It's a great card for negating effects, but also Effect Veiler is a tuner, and this deck runs around synchros mainly, and So even if I don't want to use his effect, I can normal summon and then use for synchro. Next is one Spore. I only run one because his effect can only be used once per duel. I can banish, if this guy's in the graveyard, I can banish a plant type monster in my graveyard, special summon this dude, and he gains the amount of he gains levels equal to the amount of the banished monster. And he's also a tuner. Next, two Sylvan Peacekeepers. When he's normal summoned or special summoned, basically summoned at all, wait, except for flip summon, but I can excavate, I believe, the top card of my deck to the graveyard. And if this guy's excavated, I can target a level 4 plant type monster in my graveyard, or lower plant type monster in my graveyard, and special summon it. You can only use his effect once per turn. One Foolish Burial. I use it on Dandelion or Spore, or if I need to ban it or send to the graveyard another Earth or Fire type monster, Foolish Burial will work for that if I need Blaster or Radox. Two Mark of the Rose. This card is pretty annoying. I can banish a plant type monster from my graveyard and target one monster my opponent controls. I take control of their monster. It doesn't have any other effect like this. That monster can't be tributed or used for a synchro summon or anything. You literally take their monster. Only thing is, at the end of the turn, you give it back to them. But when it's your turn again, you take it back. Next is three Miracle Fertilizers. This card is once per turn. It's a continue spell. Once per turn, I can special summon one plant type monster from my graveyard. That monster is removed from the field. Yeah, if that monster leaves the field, I have to destroy this card. Next, three Mount Sylvanias. This is the field spell of the whole deck. Once per turn, I can send one plant type monster from my hand or the field to the graveyard to put one Sylvan monster on top of the deck. And at the end of my opponent's turn, I can excavate the top card if it's a plant monster, send it to the graveyard. So you can use the effect and then send like a Marshall Leaf to the top of the deck. Next turn, use it and destroy their monster. One for one, I run three level 1 tuners in the deck. Spore, 2 effect veilers. It's great for emergency synchro summoning and whatever you need. Next, one Super Solar Nutrient. This card is, I contribute one level 2 or lower plant type monster, special summon one plant whose level is equal to or lower than the attributed monster's level plus 3. So if I attributed level 2, I'd special summon level 5. If I attributed level 1, special summon level 4 from my hand or deck. When this card is removed from the field, destroy that monster. When that monster is removed from the field, destroy this card. I run one Divine Wrath, mostly for negating effects. Most decks nowadays, just based like Dante, uses effect, use Divine Wrath, send a card from your hand to the graveyard, negate it, and destroy Dante. Or whatever monster. I run 2 Mirror Forces. I know they're limited to 3, but running 3 would ruin the consistency. When they attack, destroy all attack position monsters they control. Pretty good card. It's just a staple really to the deck. And last but not least is 2 Sylvan Blessings. I can special summon a Sylvan monster from my graveyard at the end of the turn and send it back to the graveyard. It is unaffected by other card effects that turn. Oh, you actually don't send. First you have to place one card from your hand to the top or bottom of the deck, then special summon one Sylvan monster. You don't send it to the graveyard's end phase. Save it. Place it on either the top or bottom of the deck during the end phase. And that is the main deck for my Sylvans. I'll show you a couple cards that I do use for this deck. I don't have all the extra deck cards yet, but run like Star Eater or Leo, the Keeper of Sacred Sword. Things like Crimson Blader. Scrap Dragon, Stardust Spark, Black Rose, Iron Chain Dragon, Armades. I run 2 level 5s just because, Ally of Justice, Catastor, Armory Arm, Formula Synchron, and then I run 3 rank 8s in this deck since Sylvan Hermitry is 2 rank 7s, 1 rank 8. Alcee, the Sylvan High Protector for rank 8, and for rank 7, number 11 Big Eye and Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosack. That's this extra deck. Last but not least, this side deck. I run, well, these are just some ideas. I don't have a completed side deck yet, but Rose Archer, it's a pretty good card. During either player's turn, when your opponent activates the trap card while you control a plant type monster, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard and negate it and destroy their trap card. I run another Sylvan Blessing just in case my opponent keeps destroying my monsters and I need to keep special summoning, or I need an emergency and synchro. I don't even know why I run him in the side deck right now. Sylvan Peacekeeper, 3 is kind of worthless. 3 Sylvan Cherub Sprouts. The effect is, when this is special summoned, I can choose 1 or 2, then excavate that many cards from the top of the deck. Send any excavated plant type monsters to the graveyard. Also place others in the bottom deck of any order. If this is excavated, I can special summon 1 level 1 plant type monster from my deck. So I could special summon Spore, or I could actually special summon Cherub Sprout or Sylvan Peacekeeper. Next, or lastly, is 3 Fragrant Storms. This card is destroy 1 face-up plant-type monster on the field and then draw 1 card. If it is a plant-type monster, you can reveal a card you drew to your opponent and then draw 1 more card. Basically, it's Pot of Greed. You can use Sylvan Blessing, and then special summon the monster, just destroy it, and then draw 2 cards. And that is it. Like, comment, subscribe, give me any ideas or suggestions about the deck. And if you have any suggestions about anything, questions, feel free to ask or tell us. Peace out.